Good morning. So let us continue. Today our subtopic is simultaneous equations. So we are going to solve simultaneous equations. We are going to solve simultaneous equations. Example 1, solve the following simultaneous equations. Solve the following simultaneous equations. The first part A, x plus y is equals to 13 and xy minus 6x is equal to 10. So we are going to solve that. X plus y is 13, xy minus 6x is equals to 10. So we look at the first equation. This is the solution. The first equation I have x plus y is equals to 10. So I can express y in terms of x. Then I'll be having y is equals to 10. When a positive number crosses the equal sign, it becomes negative and we'll be having minus x. Then what you do, you substitute the y is equal to 10 minus x in the second equation. So this is what you get. So this is x. In place of y, substituting in place of y, you will put 10 minus x. And then minus 6x is equal to 10. Then you open the bracket. So this is xy. So now we are dealing with one unknown. So this is 10x minus x squared minus 6x. Then minus 10 is equal to 0. Remember, the 10, when you move to this side, it will be minus 10. So this is minus x squared plus 4x minus 10 is equals to 0. So can you write something up to that point? No, just a minute. This was 13. This was 13. So just change this one to 13. This is 13. So this is 7x. So it was x plus y is equals to 13. Then that is what happened there. So y is 13 minus x. So I hope you have gotten that clearly. So up to that point, you multiply through by -1. So I hope you are writing that. So you multiply through by -1, you'll get x squared minus 7x plus 10 is equal to 0. So then you solve the equation. Two numbers whose product is 10 and the sum is -7. That's -5 and -2. X minus 2 is equal to 0. I've said at this point now, you can use any method to solve the quadratic equation. So this comes to x minus 2 into x minus 5 is equals to 0. So x is equal to 2 or 5. So we have gotten the value of x as 2 or 5. Then you ask yourself, when x is 2, what is y? So when x is 2, y will be 13 minus 2, which is 11. And then when x is 5, y is, so you know y is 13 minus x. 13 minus x. So 13 minus 5, which is 8. And then you say, therefore, x is equals to 2, y is equals to 11. Or x is equals to 5, y is equals to 8. So that is how we present our answer. That is how we present our answer. So the last one, so you'll be able to cover more on your own. The last one, we can be given 2x minus y is equal to 10, and then x squared plus xy is equal to negative 3. 2x minus y is equals to 10, and x squared plus xy is equal to 3. So in this case, you look at the equation that is linear. Remember, one of them must be linear, the other one is quadratic. So if you look at the first equation, you'll say 2x is equal to what? Y plus 10. That means the 2x minus 10 is y. So 2x minus 10 is y. So if you put here, it will be minus, and then the minus there changes to plus. So y is actually 2x minus 10. So you substitute it in the second equation. So you'll be having x squared plus x. In place of y, write 2x minus 10. And then plus 3 is equal to 0, because we want now to write it in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. So this is x squared plus 2x squared, that is 3x squared, then minus 10x plus 3 is equal to 0. So write that. Then from there, I can even use quadratic formula, and then I say that x is equals to negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So in this case here, a is 3, b is negative 10, and c is 3. So negative b is 10 plus minus b squared is 100 minus 4 times 3 times 3 over 2a, which is 6. then that gives me 10 plus or minus. So this is 4 times 3 times 3, that is 36. And then 100 minus 36, 64. So square root of 64 is 8 over 6. So this comes to 10 minus 8 over 6, or 10 plus 8 over 6. 10 minus 8 over 6, or 10 plus 8 over 6. So 10 minus 8 over 6, that is 2 over 6, which comes to a third. And then, or 3. So you get two solutions of x. So x is a third or 3. And then after that, you ask yourself, if x is a third or a third, what is y? So you come here and say that when x is a third, y will be 2x minus 10. So this is 2 into a third minus 10. And actually, 2 over 3 minus 10 is negative 9 and a third. And then you say also that when x is 3, y will be 2 into 3 minus 10, which is negative 4. And then you say, therefore, x is a third, y is negative 9 and a third. Or x is equals to 3, y is equals to negative 4. So that is the solution. So I hope you are getting me very well. Now this topic is very long, but you have to finish it right away. So clear that. Then try the following. Try the following. So let us try that. Let us solve that equation. As soon as you are through, raise up your hand. Let us solve that simultaneous equation. What's the answer? what is the answer? What is x? What is the solution? What is the solution? What is the solution? Clifford? Sammy? Nyokabi? Kim? What's the answer? Because you will meet such kind of a question more so in maths paper 2. Gitonga? Or just raise up your hand, I'll see you there. Silence means that we are not getting it right. So let us just do it very fast. You will confirm what you are doing. So if you take the first equation, I'll be having 4x minus 11 will be the same as y. Then I substitute in the second equation x squared minus x into 4x minus 11, then minus 10 is equal to 0. So this is x squared minus 4x squared plus 11x minus 10 is equal to 0. So this comes to negative 3x squared plus 11x minus 10 is equals to 0. So what happens here, that if I multiply through by negative 1, I'll get 3x squared minus 11x plus 10 is equals to 0. We check whether we can get two numbers whose product is 30 and the sum is negative 11, and that's actually negative 6 and negative 5. So that is it. So you can use whichever method, even quadratic formula will work. So this is 3x into x minus 2 minus 5 into x minus 2 is equals to 0. Check that sign. So this is x minus 2 into 3x minus 5 is 0. So x will be 2 or 1 and 2/3, because 3x, if 3x is 5, then x is 1 and 2/3. So you ask yourself, when x is 2, what is y? Y is 4 into 2 minus 11, which is negative 3. And then when x is 1 and 2 over 3, y will be 4 into 1 and 2 over 3 minus 11. A calculator will do that for you very well, and you'll get negative 4 1/3. And then now you'll say that x is 2, y is equals to negative 3, or x is 1 and 2 over 3, y is equals to negative 4 1/3. So that is how you present your answer. So you can always practice on the same, because practice makes perfect. Now I want to do something very, very new, so that at least you not only understand quadratics, but you understand something else. So I hope you have written all this. Yeah, good. So write graphical solution of quadratic equations. Graphical solution of quadratic equations. So this is what happens. So suppose you are given this y. So suppose we wish to draw. We wish to draw maybe an equation like this. Y is equals to, let's say, 2x squared plus 3x, let's say minus 2. So if you're given that kind of an equation, you will be given obviously the range. Maybe you can be given the range, maybe say from -3 to, let's say, 4. Now, there are things you have to know when you are dealing with quadratic graph. Number one, the graph must be a U-shaped or N-shaped. So write that. Number one, the graph, quadratic graph. I'm talking about the quadratic graph. So the quadratic graph must be a U-shaped, or N-shaped. So it must be like this, U-shape or N-shape. So if you find yourself drawing something like M or W, then it means there is something wrong with your graph. So it must be U-shape or N-shape. Number two, if the coefficient of x squared is negative, if the coefficient of x squared, the coefficient of x squared is negative, then the graph is N-shaped. So for instance, if I have a graph of y equals to -x squared, then that one will be N-shaped. If the coefficient of x squared is positive, like y equals to x squared, if the coefficient of x squared is positive, then the graph is U-shaped. The graph is U-shaped. So that's number two. I was just combining it. And then number three. A suitable scale must be used. A suitable scale must be used. So this is what happens. Sometimes you are given a scale. If you are given a scale by the examiner, then stick to the scale given. If you don't use the scale given, you will be awarded 0. Because if the scale is 0, plotting will be 0, curve will be 0. So remember, the scale must be correct. So if I'm told, use a scale of 1 centimeter, represent 5 units on the x-axis, and I fail to do that, then I'll get 0 mark. So learn to use the scale given on the question paper. In the event that you are not given the scale, then choose a suitable scale. Your scale, make sure it is something like divisible by 2 or 5, but not something like 3. And sometimes you find students drawing graphs like this. This is a very crazy graph because you will not be able to read some values. So make sure your graph is proportional. Another person will draw a graph like this. So that is not proper. So draw a proportional graph. That means use a suitable scale if the scale is not given. So, like for instance, if I have a graph like this, then that is a suitable graph because the scale is right. But that graph that is too thin or too wide, then that one is not a good graph. Another thing is on the graphs is that make sure that after you have drawn the graph, you label the graph. Label the graph. Like if this one is y equals to 2x squared plus 3x minus 2, label the graph. And thereafter, the lines you are also going to be drawing, you will also be labeling them. So that is it. Another thing on graphs is sometimes you may be plotting, you filling in the table, and as you are plotting, you find that, let's say, when x is, let's say this is the x and the y, and let me tell you one thing, do not interchange the scale. This is the vertical one is y-axis, the horizontal one is x. You see, when you say yes, then you nod your head up, down. Then that means the y-axis is vertical. So y-axis must be vertical. So sometimes you find when x is, let's say 1, and when x is 2, you are getting the same values, let's say -3. So you are not supposed to you cannot join it like this. So some will do it like this, but that is not true. So when you find maybe, for instance, x equals to 1 and x equals to 2, the values are the same, then you find the value of y when x is 1.5. Get the average of 1 and 2, then find the value of y when x is 1.5, then now join it so that we have a smooth curve. Something else on quadratic graph. When you're drawing the quadratic graph, make sure the graph is smooth. Join with a smooth curve. The curve must be smooth. You need to practice because practice makes perfect. Now, there are students who maybe cannot, let's say when you want to find the value using a calculator, find the value of y when x is -2. So this is what you do. You say 2 into bracket -2 into bracket power 2 plus 3 into -2 minus 2. So you can key this in the calculator. There are students who don't know how to use a calculator. So this is 2x squared plus 3x minus 2. I want to key it when value or when x is -2. Then you get the answer. Then you press the replay, and then you can now change it to maybe -1, change it to 0, change it to 1, to 2, and so on. Maybe another thing that makes students not get it right is, let's be clear here. If x is 4, then -x squared is negative of 4 squared, which is -16. So something like this may make you also not fill in the table correctly. So make sure you understand this trick here. So if I have x as 4, the negative of x squared is negative of 4 squared, which is -16. So take note of that. Now, we are now trying to solve the equation. Let's say we are given the graph y equals to 2x squared plus 3x minus 2. And then you want to solve the equation 2x squared plus 3x minus 2 is equals to 0. So this 2x squared plus 3x minus 2 is equals to 0. What do? We do this. We write the equation. Then we say 2x squared plus 3x minus 2. Then we equate it to 0. Then we do what? We subtract. And then we say y is equals to 0. Actually, y equals to 0 is the x-axis. So what is the value of x? The value of x will be where the curve cuts the what? The x-axis. So where the curve cuts the x-axis, you will read those two solutions. Another thing is, suppose we are solving an equation like, let's say, 2x squared plus x minus, let's say, 1 is equals to 0. So when I subtract here, I'll be having y is equals to, this is 2x, and then minus 2 minus minus 1 is negative 1. So what do? You will draw the line y is equals to 2x minus 1. Draw the line y equals to 2x minus 1. Then, where the line cuts the curve, that is the solution. So you'll read the values of x. Make sure that the line is labeled. Label the line and make sure you get the values of x where the line cuts the curve. Another thing is, suppose you are given the equation is y equals to 2x squared plus 3x minus 2, but I want to solve x squared minus x minus 6 is equals to 0. X squared minus x minus 6 is equals to 0. What do I do? What I'll do is, I'll look at the x squared and the 2x squared. So what do I do here? I multiply by 2. So I'll multiply it by 2 to get 2x squared minus 2x minus 12 is equal to 0. Then after that, I subtract. Then I get y is equals to 3 minus minus 2 is 5x. Negative 2 minus negative 10, it's plus 10. So this is the line that I'm going to draw on the curve. Then where the line and the curve intersects, then you read the values of x. Suppose also we are given something like 3x squared plus 6x is equal to 0. So what do we do in that case? So I'm given 3x squared plus 6x is equal to 0. What do? I look at the 3x squared and the 2x x squared. So the LCM of 2 and 3 is 6. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. So I multiply the first equation by 3 and the second equation by 2. If I do that, I'll get 3y is equals to 6x squared plus 9x minus 6. And then I have 0 is equals to 3x. No, 0 is equal to 6x squared plus 12x. And then I subtract, and then I get 3y is equal to negative 3x minus 6. So y is negative x minus 2. So I'm given 3x squared plus 6x is equals to 0, and I'm supposed to use the quadratic graph. So if I'm using quadratic graph, then you are supposed to be drawing lines only. Don't draw another curve. So in this case, you'll have to get the LCM because I have to eliminate the x squared. The trick is eliminate the x squared so that we have a linear equation, and then we draw the graph. And then from it, where the curve and the line meets, that is the solution to the equation. So here we cannot draw, but you as a student, you make sure that you perfect on that skill. So make sure that you look at KMF and see whether you are going to draw the graph and answer the question below it. Our next lesson is on further logarithms. So I wish to stop there. So do something on further logarithms. You are free to exit.